Once you remove the casing on the control box, you will see a bank of electrical connections on the right-hand side and the same across the bottom. The right-hand side bank are all low voltage, and any connections that are not pre-wired will be supplied loose in the box, so be careful not to lose them. From the top, we have room stat for zone 1 if you're not using an ideal Halo thermostat, room stat for zone 2 if you're using one zone Halo and an additional third-party room stat. This can be connected here. If you're not using either of these, then leave the link wires connected. Next, we have the link diagnostics port, and then our connection from the Halo Air room thermostat, which goes back to the Halo Air smart interface. Then, flow and return temperature sensors, a header thermistor for cascading outdoor units, and next up, we have the hot water thermistor, and lastly, the outside temperature sensor for weather compensation, and we'll look at this in more detail later. The connections across the bottom of the control box are all 240 volts. The first 3 connections are for faults and tariffs, but next to this is our main connection. This is where our communication cable comes in from the outdoor unit. It starts with comms, then moves on to live, earth, and then neutral. It's in a different order to the connections outside, so just be careful not to muddle these up. Next across, you will find our overheat stat, and then 3-port valve connections, and lastly, connections for circulating pumps, depending on the number of zones. If we've supplied the pre-plumb cylinder, then most of these connections will be pre-wired, making for a super simple installation. The last piece of wiring required at the control box is for the immersion heater. It must be supplied using a dedicated fuse spur connected through the contactor located inside the control box. This then allows the heat pump to control the immersion when it's used.